I've been watching Severance recently and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who wants to catch up, but there is a moment for the characters within the show where they go into an elevator, and in this elevator, their character transitions into two different states. You see kind of the eyes rolling back and they get sucked into this other state of being. I think it's such a great representation. I don't know if that's the intention of the creators to represent that experience, but when I see it, that's how I can relate to that sensation. Recently I made a bunch of videos about meditation, and as I was editing them, I kind of realized that they sounded like textbook answers. So I wanted to jump back in here and talk about what meditation actually feels like. You know, this is one of the questions that I get asked most as a yoga teacher. The truth is probably something that you don't want to hear because it's messy, it doesn't come from a textbook, and we've been taught to absorb life like there's a right and wrong answer to everything, like it comes out of a textbook. But with meditation, that's not how it is. Meditation is totally unique to everybody. It's a spectrum of experiences and feelings, realizations. I reached out to some people to ask what their experiences are as well, because it's so different for everybody. I'm in a co-working space at the moment because I'm moving house. And this has been a real time of testing for my meditation practice. Can you show up every day? Can you find that space to find calm and still, even when everything around you is chaotic? So yeah, I'm in a co-working space. It does mean that I have fancy coffee. Meditation is a practice. What does that mean? It means that every time you show up, you practice something different. It's like when you are learning to ride a bike. The first time that you get on a bike, you're on one piece of road, the road feels different, things are bumpy, you're not sure where the pedals are or how they work. Second time you get on the bike, you learn a bit more about the pedals, but the terrain feels different. And every time you get on, you develop your experience and you're able to stay stable over them. So it's a practice. With that in mind, every day that you turn up, you're going to experience different things. So even now, the last couple of days with moving house, I haven't had a same place to sit down and do my meditation. Days have been a bit off schedule, so I haven't been meditating at the same time. So it brings a different experience every time. How I feel, my hunger levels, the thoughts that are running through my brain are different every single time. So sometimes I sit down and I'm struggling to quiet the mind. And that's the practice for today, just trying to quiet the mind. And maybe it doesn't go any further than that. Maybe it just is acknowledging that that's what's happening, and the practice is trying to bring the mind to a single point where it's not just running off, chasing every single thought that comes up. Some days I sit down, mind is super focused, can come to a feeling of stillness very quickly, and I just kind of get lost and I don't even feel like I'm within my body. So when people talk about meditation, I think they're generally talking about that second part, that later stage, and actually that usually comes with more experience. But you can practice it all the time. Even if you are practicing for years, you may still get those days where you can't reach that stage. That's totally normal. If you're curious about what happens when you're in that deep meditative state, here are a few things that happen to me. I think people often expect that they're going to kind of lose consciousness, that they're going to lose a sense of everything that's happening around them. But that's really not the case in the earlier stages of meditation. And even when you get deep into meditation, so I still retain awareness of the noises around me. They don't disturb me so much when I'm in a deep meditative state. They don't disturb me, but I'm aware that they're there. I can hear the birds, I can hear the traffic, I can hear the TV that my partner's got on. But you're not reactive to it. You're just there, focusing in the mind. The other thing that I've started to notice when I'm in this deep state of absorption is a feeling in my body. Meditation teaches us to move out of the physical body and into something deeper, to transcend the physical body. And I can start to feel that happening. The best way that I can try to describe it is imagining that my body is drawn in pencil. So the outline of my body is drawn on a sheet of paper in pencil. And then someone's taken a rubber or an eraser to the edges and they've started to rub it out. And you know when it leaves that smudge on the paper, there's like a grey smudge. So the line is almost gone, but it's still there on the pages. That's what it feels like is happening in my body. I feel the density of my body starting to lose its edges. I can no longer feel the outline of my arms or my legs. It just feels like my body is melting into the air, the energy all around, which is a pretty cool feeling. And then sometimes I realize this is happening. I realize consciously that I'm starting to get into a deeper state of meditation. What happens at that point is I might take a little gasp of air. So in meditation, the body isn't consciously breathing anymore. So the breath gets shallower, it gets less deep, just like when you're sleeping. This means that less oxygen is getting up into the brain, which is what helps us go into that state of higher internal awareness. At that point of conscious switching on, we take that gasp of air and it brings you back into a more physical presence, the physical being. So I've been watching Severance recently, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who wants to watch that or catch up. There is a moment for the characters within the show where they go into an elevator, and in this elevator, their character transitions into two different states. When they reach this point in the elevator of that transition, you see kind of the eyes rolling back, and they kind of get sucked into this other state of being. And when I watched that, that's the best visual representation I have had for that feeling of taking the gasp of air and then being sucked back into the physical body after being in meditation. I think it's such a great representation. I don't know if that's the intention of the creators to represent that experience, probably not. But when I see it, that's how I can relate to that sensation. What also happens to me when this gasp of air happens is I try to train myself to come back into that state of focus, to go deeper back into meditation. And you can do it. It takes practice, but you can do it. You can go back into that state of focus. But if you try too hard, it's like trying to catch sand in your hands, like the grains of sand kind of fall through. In yogic meditation, we focus on meditation objects. These are specific objects. They could be symbols, candles, things that we focus on to bring the mind to a state of being that's associated with that object. The objects that we want to work with are subtle. What do I mean by that? They are within ourselves. They're not something that we look at externally. We can start our meditation practice by looking at external objects like statues, candles. That's a great way to build your concentration, your ability to concentrate and focus on a single object. But as you progress in meditation, you want to focus on objects that you find within yourself. These are objects that have been identified through different lineages, different traditions of yoga practice. It could be something like a flame in the heart. I struggle a lot with these symbols. It doesn't mean that I can't use them, but it's something that I really struggle with. And the reason for that is because I am somebody who cannot visualize. I only recently found out that this is a difference that I have to many people. I also have like an inner monologue which narrates my life inside. I have an inner voice, and I also know that a lot of people don't experience that. So this is a new discovery for me. But when I found out that I don't have this ability to visualize, to see things inside my mind, it really made a lot of sense. So these symbols, like the flame in the heart, these are things that I just cannot see. When I close my eyes to meditate and I'm guided either by myself or by another teacher to focus on those objects, I just can't see them. So what do you do in that situation? Each of these objects has a feeling associated with them. So with the flame in the heart, think about what a flame represents. It's a heat, it's a purification. And so that's what I focus my energy on instead, is a feeling rather than a visual image. So other people will be able to see a light around that flame inside themselves. For me, I'm focusing on that feeling of warmth, of heat, of purity, of gratitude as well, which is the inside essence of that particular meditation object. So these are some of my own experiences of meditation, but they're just a fraction of what's possible. I'd love to know what you have experienced in your meditations, how long you've been meditating for, whether you're a newcomer or maybe you're someone with years of experience. I also reached out to a few friends, fellow yogis, to ask them what they experience in meditation, and Shora from the White Walls channel here on YouTube, she has kindly shared some of her thoughts.
I think there can oftentimes be a lot of pressure around meditation, that it should feel a certain way, that it should be a certain way, that one should see something, hear something, and when you try to manufacture that experience, that it is when it becomes little bit unnatural and forced and also intimidating for a lot of people. From my own experience, meditation can just be in a state of feeling nothing at all. That is an experience in itself. It can also be in a state of experiencing and observing your thoughts come online, and that could bring up certain emotions. It could be an experience in childhood that is coming up. It could be an emotion. And I feel like meditation is a space where we allow all this to happen. And the most important thing is to be in the observer's seat, to observe these things coming up instead of being dragged into it. If we feel a certain emotion of sadness, of grief coming up, then being the observer, acknowledging that emotion, and with a childlike curiosity ask, oh, where is this coming from? And without any expectation, let that experience unfold in itself. So yeah, for me, I have experienced meditation in a way where sometimes it is these emotions coming up, sometimes it's also frustration because there is a lot of mind chatter going on, but observing that it's coming up and knowing that it's okay, don't have to beat yourself up over it. There can also, and have had experiences where I feel the subtle energies and I hear vibrations and receive downloads. So yeah, there is no one right way of how meditation should feel like, and I think it is your own experience to fully feel it and fully be in it, however that unfolds for you. And it is a journey. It is a ever-evolving journey. So yeah, have fun with it.
Big thanks to Shora for sharing her insights and thoughts there. Do be sure to check out her channel. Shora has some amazing messages that she shares with people, and she's just a wonderfully warm person, both on her channel you'll see and in real life. Take away that pressure from yourself. Just turn up and practice and see what is there for you today. That's all you can really do in meditation. Know that whatever you feel, that is what meditation should feel like. I'd love to know what you experience in meditation, so be sure to share your thoughts, your experiences in the comments below so that other people can see it as well, if they can relate to anything that you're going through. If you have any questions, reach out to me, and be sure to give this video a like, a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to hear more about yoga, find yoga practices, and chat about yoga both on and off the mat. Yoga is not something we just turn up to on the mat. It's something that we practice in day-to-day life all the time. So look forward to seeing you next time.